The Premier League is finally coming back, and that means it's time for my predictions. And you definitely want to stay to the end of the video because I have some outrageous predictions at the end. Anyways, let's start off with the club who's going to finish last place in the Premier League this season, and it's going to be Bournemouth. I'm literally so confident that Bournemouth will finish last place in the Premier League. In fact, I could probably bet my life savings that they will. Now, I know Bournemouth did great in the championship season, and they only lost by 2 points to Fulham in the title race, and I know all about that striker Dominic Solanke, who bagged 29 goals and 7 assists in 45 games in the championship last season. They also have other decent players like Jefferson Lerma, Philip Billing, and Lloyd Kelly. But overall, they've been pretty quiet in the summer transfer window this season, and I know they signed the likes of Ryan Fredericks, but that's not enough to keep them up in the Prem. And overall, I low-key think they're just kind of rubbish. But they do have that talented kid though, Jaden Anthony. Keep an eye on him, I think he's a baller. Now, 19th place, we got another not surprising one. It's gonna be Fulham for me. Now, I'm very well aware that Fulham won the championship last season with 90 points, which is remarkable. And I'm also well aware that Mitrovic, their striker, bagged 43 goals and 7 assists in 44 games in the championship. Mitrovic, however, has always been good in the championship, but whenever he goes and plays in the Premier League, he never shows that same form. Also, a key part of Mitrovic's success was Carvalho, who has now dipped to Liverpool. Fulham have still got some great signings in with the likes of Mbabu from Wolfsburg, Bernd Leno from Arsenal, and Paulinho from Sporting CP. However, even though this is the best Fulham side I've seen in years, I still think they're going back down to the championship because they're a yo-yo club. Literally, one season they're in the Premier League and the next they're in the championship. It's just a reoccurring theme. That's why it's a safe bet to say that Fulham are in 19th place. Now for 18th place, I have something pretty surprising, and I think Everton is going to be the one getting relegated. Now we all know that last season Everton were absolutely terrible. They were literally in the relegation zone for the longest time until Richarlison put Everton on his back and clawed Everton out of the relegation zone. But guess what? Richarlison isn't there anymore. In fact, he moved to Tottenham for 60 million euros. So who did Everton get with that money? Well, they got Dwight McNeil for Burnley, and they also got Tarkowski for Burnley. Overall, I still don't think this is enough, man. I think Everton are just pure garbage. Also, just to add to my point, Everton's preseason form has been horrendous. They lost to Arsenal 2-0, which is kind of acceptable because Arsenal are a better team than Everton. But then after that, they end up losing to MLS side Minnesota United 4-0. They conceded 4 goals to an MLS side, bro. Like, I like the MLS, but a Premier League team should not be conceding that much to an MLS side. I also feel like Frank Lampard is going to get the sack in like the middle of the season. I think it's just going to be a horrendous season for Everton. Now, the team who is going to barely survive relegation and get 17th place is going to be Southampton for me. Probably a couple weeks ago when Southampton weren't signing anybody, I might have put them in the relegation zone instead of Everton. However, now Southampton have picked it up, and in fact, they signed Joe Aribo from Rangers. I think he's a fantastic signing, and he'll be a key piece for Southampton this year. Overall, I think Southampton have just done enough to escape the relegation zone. However, if Che Adams leaves Southampton, which he hasn't yet, I think Southampton are screwed. Now, 16th place, I actually have Brentford. I think Brentford are going to suffer from second season syndrome a little bit. They're not going to be as bad as Sheffield United, who got relegated in their second season. I still think Brentford will stay up, but they're still going to struggle. I think Brentford losing Christian Eriksen is going to really suck because he was that creative outlet in the team, and I don't really have that anymore. But I think the fact that Brentford is still able to keep top talents in the club like Mbeumo and Ivan Toney will keep them up. And they also brought in a really good goalkeeper, Strakosha from Lazio, who played week in and week out for that club. And you know what they say, man, a key to a good defense is a good goalkeeper. Therefore, I think Strakosha will do enough in net to make sure Brentford don't lose as many games to keep them up in the Prem. Now moving on to 15th place, we got the only team that's going to survive that got promoted, Nottingham Forest. Now one of the biggest and most historic clubs in England is finally back in the Premier League, which is another reason why I want them to stay in the Prem. But putting my feelings aside, I think Nottingham Forest have done incredible business this summer so far. I think signing ex-Liverpool and ex-Union Berlin striker Taiwo Ayonoe is a great move in my opinion. He's not a world beater or anything, but the fact is he scored 15 goals and 2 assists in 31 games in the Bundesliga, and that's pretty good, bro. And that's not all Nottingham Forest have signed, because they signed Nico Williams from Liverpool, Omar Richards from Bayern Munich, Dean Henderson from Manchester United, and Mangala from Stuttgart, and etc. They signed a lot of players this summer. And also, I didn't even mention their biggest signing this summer, which is Jesse Lingard on a free. Lingard is still 29 years old. He's still in the age where he could be really effective for a Premier League club. 1 year back, we saw how good he was for West Ham United, man. He could definitely show that same form at Nottingham Forest. Basically, so far, Nottingham Forest has shown great business in the transfer market, and that tells me that they really want to stay in the Premier League, and I think they're going to pull it off. Now, for 14th place, it might be a little bit of a shock to everybody, but I actually got Brighton Hove Albion. I don't think they'll be threatened with relegation this season, but I do think they're going to underperform a little bit. Brighton lost their best player, Bissouma, to Tottenham this summer, and they haven't really replaced him, and they also might be losing their player of the season last season, Cuco Cucurella to Manchester City. And even though they might be losing two of their talented players, they're gonna have Undov and Zakiri returning from loan. And although that is good, and they have kept the likes of Trossard and Neil Maupay at the club, I don't think they're gonna improve their standing from last season, and that's why I think they're gonna get 14th place. Now in 13th place, I got Leeds United, or should I say the United States of Leeds. Leeds really loves Americans now, huh? First, they got American manager Jesse Marsh, who helped them survive relegation last season. Then this summer, they signed one of the brightest American talents, Brendan Anderson, who has that Champions League experience from Salzburg. And they also got good defensive midfielder Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig, who has that excellent experience as well. Now obviously, Leeds United didn't just sign Americans, they signed other players too. They signed the likes of Sinistera from Feyenoord, who was killing it last season for the Dutch club, and they also got the likes of Christensen from Salzburg and Mark Roca from Bayern Munich. These are all great signings, but it's also very important to note that Leeds United lost two of their best players. They lost Rafinha to FC Barcelona and Calvin Phillips to Manchester City. I think if Leeds United kept those two players along with the additions this summer, they might even push for that top 10 in the Premier League, but that wasn't the case, so that's why they're 13th place. Now in 12th place, I got something kind of surprising. I got Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're doing decent business in the transfer window, to be fair. They permanently signed Hwang Hee-chan, who is a good / decent striker, and they also signed the likes of Nathan Collins from Burnley, who's also pretty talented. They're also getting the likes of Adama Traore and Vinagre back on loan, and they're also getting Pedro Neto back from injury, which is a huge plus. But respectfully, I don't think these signings are going to do much of an impact on Wolverhampton Wanderers to push a top 10 spot. I think they're going to be around the same place as last season, somewhere right in the middle, and that's why I think Wolves are going to finish 12th place. Now for 11th place, I have high hopes for this team, and it's going to be Crystal Palace. I think Patrick Vieira has done an excellent job with this club so far, getting them to 12th place last season when everyone thought they were relegation candidates. Yes, they've lost the likes of Gallagher, who now went back to Chelsea, but they signed a good replacement in Decore from RC Lens. Not only that, they signed young and talented center back from United States of America and Bayern Munich, Chris Richards. And although they didn't make any other remarkable signings apart from the two I mentioned, they still managed to keep the likes of Zaha, Olise, Eze, Guehi, etc. And that's why I think Palace finishing 11th place is pretty reasonable. Now I think Aston Villa will finish smack in the middle of the Premier League standings and get 10th place. Steven Gerrard as the manager improved Villa's quality on the pitch, and it really showed at the back end of last season. Except for the game against Manchester City. Gerrard, you bottled it again for Liverpool.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
But in all seriousness, Stevie G has a full summer transfer market with Aston Villa, and now he has a full season, and he's really going to show what he can do as a manager. Not only that, Aston Villa have been making signings in the summer transfer market. They signed the likes of Diego Carlos from Sevilla and Boubacar Kamara from Marseille. Not only that, they managed to sign Philippe Coutinho on a permanent deal, which is a great thing to do. This is definitely a long-term project for Steven Gerrard, so not breaking into the top 7 right now is pretty excusable. Not only that, I think a 10th place finish for the Villas will be a huge improvement from last season, so I'm backing them to do that. Now for 9th place, this is going to be pretty shocking for other people, I think, but I think Leicester City will finish there. And this is because Leicester City have literally signed nobody this summer. Legit, nobody. Not even like a youth player or anything. They've signed no one. I think the Leicester City board must have forgotten that the summer transfer window opened. Or they're hibernating like they're bears or something, bro. Like, how could you not make a signing this summer, bro? I don't even know, bro, but regardless, Leicester City still have a good squad with a good / decent manager in Brendan Rodgers. But still, bro, even with a good team, you still want to try and improve every single summer, and Leicester City are just not doing that. Additionally, the futures are up in the air for Tielemans and Fofana, whether they'll stay at Leicester City for another season or not. All I'm saying is if Leicester City lose those two players, they're definitely finished below 9th place, but since they haven't left yet, I'm giving them 9th. Now for 8th place, this might be a little risky move and a risky prediction, but I think it's going to be West Ham United. Now I know a ton of people are saying West Ham is going to finish 6th place or 7th place, but for me, I think I'm going to put them 8th. Now I know they made great signings this transfer window like Areola from PSG, Aguirre from Stade Rennais, and they also signed the likes of Gianluca Scamacca from Sassuolo. Now let's talk about Scamacca for a little bit, who's a great and upcoming striker who got signed to West Ham for 36 million euros. This shows that West Ham really believe in this guy's potential. Last season he got 16 goals in 36 games in Serie A. So sure, he's not like a world beater or anything, but he definitely has the potential to become one in the future. I also believe that if West Ham had a proper striker last season, they definitely would have finished a few places above where they were at, but now they do got a striker, so no more excuses. I'm taking a huge risk and a huge leap of faith for this decision, but I think 7th place is going to be Newcastle United. With that new Saudi Arabian oil money, they've been splashing the cash this summer. In fact, they signed talented center back Sven Botman from Lille, and they also added the likes of talented goalkeeper Nick Pope. It also definitely seems like Eddie Howe knows what he's doing with Newcastle and has a clear plan for them. I mean, he definitely has a plan, bro. He's a great manager. What am I saying? Like, bruh, Eddie Howe turned Joelinton into a good player. I used to see so many Joelinton memes on Twitter now, but nobody's saying anything anymore because now with his new position, he's been killing it. And Newcastle already have great players already with the likes of Alan St-Maximin and Bruno Guimaraes. Also, in the second half of the season, Newcastle United were killing it, and they were definitely one of the best Premier League teams teams. They were extremely impressive, and if they continue that form into this season for the whole season, I think they could definitely finish in 7th place and get that Conference League spot. I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see Newcastle United in a European competition. I think that would be hilarious. Now for 6th place, I got a repeat of last year. I think it's gonna be Manchester United. Listen, I know Erik ten Hag is a great coach, and I know Manchester United's play in preseason has been superb. Regardless, for me, I don't think Manchester United have done enough business in the transfer market to convince me to give them a top 4 spot. Regardless of the signs of Christian Eriksen, Lisandro Martinez, and Terrell Malacia, I think United still have a lot of deadweight players that they need to let go. Like bruh, Martial, he literally only had 1 goal on loan for Sevilla, bro. He has to go. How is he still a United player? I still think they have a center back problem. I rate Rafael Varane, but I don't rate Harry Maguire or Lindelof that highly. And a midfield with McTominay and Fred will not take you that far either. And as of right now, Frenkie de Jong doesn't seem to want to join Manchester United and would rather stay at Barcelona. So with Frenkie de Jong not wanting to join Manchester United, they seriously have a midfield transfer problem that needs to get solved. I definitely think United need another midfielder apart from Eriksen, but right now it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. I honestly could put United lower in the table, but I think Erik ten Hag has the potential to become a top 3 coach in the Premier League. I really rate the coach highly, and I think Erik ten Hag will find a way to get Manchester United to finish in a Europa League spot. Now for 5th place, I got the basic choice of selecting Arsenal. I feel like they could easily contend for top 4 and potentially pull off an upset, but I think saying they're gonna finish 5th place is an easy bet. Arsenal have had a superb transfer window so far, signing the likes of Pablo Vieira from Porto, Zinchenko from Man City, and Gabriel Jesus from Man City. Now Gabriel Jesus is an incredible sign for Arsenal. Literally in preseason, he's been killing it. He got a brace in a couple of preseason games, but then in the last game they played, he got a hat trick. This guy Gabriel Jesus is definitely an upgrade from Lacazette, and I even put him on my fantasy, so I hope Gabriel Jesus kills it. Now Arsenal have kept a lot of their star players this season, like Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Odegaard, etc. So that's why I think Arsenal are going to finish 5th place, and don't worry, I think you might still get a Champions League spot because I think you're one of the favorites to win the Europa League. So even if you finish 5th place, don't worry, you might still get Champions League in my opinion. Now for what I gotta say in 4th place might be a little bit ridiculous, but I actually have Chelsea finishing there. Now I know it's kind of shocking to put Chelsea outside the top 3, but just hear me out, man. Chelsea's transfer window this summer has been absolutely abysmal. Now yes, I know, they signed the likes of Raheem Sterling and Koulibaly and also got Gallagher back from loan, but most of the transfers they were going after this season have been screwed over. Like Chelsea wanted Lewandowski, Barcelona took him. Chelsea wanted to keep Christensen, well, Barcelona took him as well. Now Chelsea have been wanting Koundé for a year and were about to get him, Barca got him in the end. And it also now seems like Barcelona want Marcus Alonso and Azpilicueta, which looks kinda likely. So yes, Chelsea are losing a ton of players to Barcelona and they definitely hate that club right now. And Chelsea definitely need a striker too, because they lost Romelu Lukaku this summer to Inter Milan. Now I know they have Kai Havertz who usually plays up top, but I don't think he's a striker personally. And with Timo Werner looking like he's gonna leave to either RB Leipzig or Juventus, they definitely need someone else new, but so far they're not even going after anyone. And since I haven't seen any Chelsea links recently, I'm gonna have to say they're finishing 4th place. Now for 3rd place, I got Tottenham Hotspur. Now I think that Tottenham are better than the teams below them, but I don't think they're close to competing with Liverpool or Manchester City. Now at the time we're recording this, Tottenham have kept their best players in Harry Kane and Heung-min Son for another season, and they have also improved their depth by signing Richarlison, who's gonna warm the bench for Harry Kane, and they also signed the likes of Bissouma, Jed Spence, and Perisic. Now Perisic and Spence could easily be used as wingbacks in Conte's system, and I think they're gonna kill it this season. It also seems like Conte is going on the offensive this season. I think they're gonna score a lot of goals. And with 2 great finishers like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, they're gonna have no problem scoring them. Harry Kane is literally a guaranteed 20 goals in the Prem, and Heung-min Son just came off his best season ever for Tottenham, so I think he's gonna replicate that again. Now I know Tottenham and Conte have the responsibility to balance the Premier League and the Champions League, but I'm sure they can do it, bro. Conte's a world-class coach. He knows what he's doing. And that's why I think they're gonna figure it out and get 3rd place. Now who's gonna win the Premier League this year? That's the question we all want the answer to. We definitely all know it's gonna be a title race between Liverpool and Manchester City. Last season it was really close, with City narrowly beating Liverpool to the title by 1 point. Will this time be different? Well, who knows, but I think Manchester City is gonna win the Premier League. Yeah, I know it's sad because I am a Liverpool fan, but I said what I said, bro. I think Man City's gonna win. Now before we talk about Manchester City, let's talk about Liverpool, who I think is gonna finish 2nd place. Liverpool just lost one of their best players ever in the summer transfer window in Sadio Mane. Now Liverpool have replaced him this summer with signing Darwin Núñez. Now Darwin Núñez seems like a good striker for Liverpool, and in fact he's the key reason why we even won the Community Shield against Man City. He won the penalty for Salah to score, and he also scored the 3rd and final goal. However, I think this is going to be Liverpool's rebuilding season, and they're going to try to figure out how to play without Sadio Mane. I do think they're going to challenge for every single trophy they're going to play in, but I don't think they're going to get successful in most. However, I do think Mohamed Salah is going to bag the golden boot, no questions asked. Now let's talk about Manchester City getting 1st place, which I think is a pretty easy decision to say. After all, Man City literally won 4 out of the last 5 Premier Leagues. They only lost 1 to Liverpool. Man City did lose some key players this summer, with the likes of Zinchenko leaving to Arsenal, Raheem Sterling going to Chelsea, and Gabriel Jesus, who also went to Arsenal. But they did sign Erling Haaland, and he's destined to be one of the best strikers ever, so that's a pretty good signing exciting if I say so myself. And yes, I'm well aware he had a stinker against Liverpool in the Community Shield. And he literally missed an open goal, which is pretty embarrassing, bro. You definitely should be finishing that. But I also said in my Community Shield video that you shouldn't expect Haaland to kill it in his first season. He's definitely going to need some time to adapt to City's system and definitely adapt to the Premier League. The thing is though, Manchester City can afford to wait for Haaland to adapt to these things. They're already so OP, man. They have incredible depth and have world beaters in almost every single position. Literally, like Kevin De Bruyne can win a Man City game all by himself, bro. They don't need Erling Haaland to carry them just yet. And the fact that Man City is just so OP is the reason why I think they're going to win the Premier League. Anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments below whether you agree with my predictions or not. And if you don't, let me know what your predictions are because I would love to know what you guys think. Real quickly though, before you click off, remember to subscribe to the channel and remember to hit the notification bell. It'll help me a lot. And also leave a like on the video. Let's try reaching 250 likes. So yeah, that's all I really want to say. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.